Kia ora tātou. Welcome back to Hell Pizza's Great New Zealand Book Trip live author series. I'm Siang from Hell, and I can't believe it's already time for our last stop of the Great New Zealand Book Trip. It's been such an awesome adventure, travelling across the Mutu and meeting all the incredible authors and illustrators from across Aotearoa. And today's guest has the perfect end-of-year mystery to share. Now, for those of you new to us today, the Great New Zealand Book Trip is a special addition to our Hell Pizza Reading Challenge, and it's our 4th year we've taken the book trip around Aotearoa. So thanks a lot for tuning in and coming along with us. Today, we're joined by author and illustrator Li Chen, creator of Detective Beans and the Case of the Missing Hat. Now, Beans is this adorable cat detective ready to tackle his biggest case yet. But can he solve it in time to make it home for dinner? I hope so, because his mum's probably waiting for him. Now, Lee's book won the Wright Family Foundation Esther Glen Award for Junior Fiction at this year's 2025 New Zealand Book Awards for Children and Young Adults. And when we get into it, it's easy to see why. And on a personal note, it's one of my son's favourite books. Now, Lee has also been a full-time comic artist for more than a decade, which is 10 years, which is a long time, and loves nothing more than drawing. Earlier this year, she also published the second Detective Beans graphic novel, Detective Beans Adventures in Cat Town. So hopefully we'll get to hear a little bit about it today as well. For today's activity, everyone will get the chance to draw or colour in their very own beans. And so we'd love to see your final creations when you're done. So make sure you get your teachers to not forget to send us the photos. We'd love to see them. So without further ado, let's begin and find out what Detective Beans has been up to. So over to you, Lee.
Thank you so much. That was such a great introduction. I feel a fancy now. I feel all, gassed up. Thank you so much. Hey everyone. Welcome. My name is Lee. I'm going to show you some slides. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing, we're going to see some slides. We're going to go through them super, super fast because we have very little time. And then we're going to do some drawing together, okay? But even the drawing, we have to go really, really fast. We have very limited time. I've asked for more time. They see that you're all very, very busy. You have meetings to get to, probably shareholder meetings and board meetings, and I can't keep you for too long because you're very busy. Okay, let's start. My name's Lee. I am the author of Detective Beans. So as you can see, that's Beans, my main character, and I have 2 books, Detective Beans, Case of the Missing Hat, and Adventures in Cat Town. Got them right next to me. Ooh la la, look at that. So there we go, 2 books. I've got a 3rd coming on the way. And I'll show you a little surprise later on. Okay, wait for that. Now, my books are based on my 2 cats. So these are my cats. Hopefully you can read them. Read that. So I've got one that's called Copy, one that's called Paste. I got them from the SPCA. I was fostering them, and then I just fell in love with them, and I ended up keeping them. And they are siblings, and they look almost identical, so that's why we call them Copy and Paste. As you can see, Copy likes catnip, stealing my seat. I actually had to close my door today because otherwise Copy would be in here just like meowing her little heart out, stealing my chair, doing everything she can to cause a ruckus. So I had to close that. She also likes opening cupboards. We have these cupboards that at the time when I bought them, I never thought about it, but the way you open them, they're just little holes and they're perfect size for her to just put her little paw in, and she just goes bonk. And she, like if I'm out for the day, I think she gets really mad and she'll just go through and she'll just open all the cupboards and then she just pulls everything out. So she is very smart, very, very naughty. And I think of her as more Biscuits, who is like Bean's best friend. If you've seen her in the book, let me show you. She looks like, okay, well, this one, she looks a bit silly. She looks like that. So it's the ginger cat. That's her. And then we've got Paste. Paste is kind of Beans. He's a little simple. He's not the smartest, but he's very sweet. He really likes hair ties. I have to make sure that they're not on the ground or else he gets very excited. He loves treats and he loves licking his own butt loudly, which he does all the time, especially during like very silent, dramatic points of like TV shows and movies. He will just start really, really loudly and it's very annoying. So it's based on them and I love them both. Okay, so today we're gonna go really fast. How do we make a book? We're gonna go through this so fast, guys, okay? Because then we can do some drawing. Okay, number one, you have to get an idea. This is probably the hardest part of the process, I would say, but it's also like the most fun. And the thing that I always say to people, because people always ask me where I get my ideas from, because I think that's what everyone wants to know when you're talking to an author or a painter or someone creative. And the main thing I would say is that ideas come from anywhere. So you just really have to think at the back of your mind, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're looking at, like, could this be a potential idea for a story? And you should always write what you know. So obviously my books are based on cats because I love cats. I have two cats, obviously, I just show them to you. And just like their little personality, I've sort of written into my characters. And then in the places that we go, sometimes in the stories, are based on real places that I've gone to or go on walks on and walk past. So you really should write what you know. Write about, if you have a really annoying sibling, brother or sister, write about them, make them the villain of your story. If your dad looks like the daddest dad you've ever seen, and you need a dad character for your story, draw him like your dad, give him a little mustache and a little polo shirt, just write what you know. So I always say that. Don't start too grand, like, I want to start doing a huge epic story that's set in space, and you don't know a lot about space, and you don't know much about spaceships. I mean, that's just going to be really difficult, and you're going to lose interest in STEAM very fast. So write what you know. Okay, number two, write an outline. Okay, so don't get panicked. I know this looks very scary. So this was the outline that I wrote for my publishers when I was making my first book, Detective Beans in the Case of the Missing Hat. So it's very long. Yours does not have to be this long at all because, you're just starting out. It can just be half a page. It could even be smaller than that. It could just be some bullet points. But this basically was an outline of the whole story of everything that happens in Detective Beans in the Case of the Missing Hat. And so I needed to write this down so I could show my publishers, so I can say, this is kind of what I want to write. Will you please give me money to make that? But it's also good because while you're making the comic, this is something that you can always go back to and see if you're staying on track. So sometimes, like I'll be doing the comic part and then I will kind of get sidetracked on something. And then I have to come and look at the outline again and be like, no, 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 wait. Where's the story going? Is this going to help tell the story, or am I just going off on a completely different track? And if I am, then I can save those ideas and I might put it in a future book. But please don't get overwhelmed by this. Yours does not have to be this big at all. Okay, after that, you've got your idea, you've written your outline, so you know what's going to happen in the story. The next step is to draw thumbnails. Now, thumbnails are very, very small, really rough drawings of every single panel that you're going to have in your comic. And the reason they're called thumbnails is because you only have to draw them as big as a thumbnail if you want. So I draw them a little bit bigger than that because I also write in text and stuff in a thumbnail. I mean, that's just tiny. I can't write text into that. But the thing is, you don't have to worry about how these look. You don't have to show anyone this part, no one. This is just for you to look at. And it's just for you to start getting your story in order. So first you might have, if you see the ones I've got on the screen right now, the first one you've got Beans. I know he's drawn really badly. I promise it gets better later on. Heading to a magic show. And then you can see on the second one, he's in the back and there's some other people in the front. And there's some writing. Now, sir, is this your card? No. So you just want to have like a panel, a little rough drawing of every panel in your comic, okay? Now, then you start sketching your pages. So this is like a sketched, sort of laid out page of my book. And you see it has the same. So if I go back here, so if you look on the second row, the second one in the second row, there's a bunny and it says cough. So if you look at that, and then if we look at this, look on the first page, so the one on the left, the second row down, you can see there's that bunny and it's saying cough. So I've just taken all the drawings, I've done the little sketches, and I've put them into bigger squares and I've laid it out like a proper page. And then I've gone through and draw them like a bit more nicely. And so at this stage, this is what I would then send to my publishers to be like, this is how it's looking. This is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Does it look okay? So that's sort of the sketching phase. And then after that, the publisher will come back and be like, yep, that looks great. Or no, can you make a few changes? And then you're ready to do final art. So that is the same page. If you look here, that's the same page, but now colored in. So if I just do that, see, you can see now I've done like the final art, like line work. So it's all clean. It's not like scratchy anymore. And I put in colors. So it's all done. And then, let me see if I can find this. And then it'll get printed in a book. And it looks like, oh, wait. It's coming. It's coming. Ta-da! And it's so cool to draw something and then see it in a book, and you can go into a bookstore and pick it up off the shelf and you open it up and there's just drawings that you've done. It is such a cool feeling. So yeah, oh, and you have to add page numbers. So obviously this is quite a long book. It's 208 pages, so you have to add page numbers. Because everyone might not read this in one go because it is quite long. So you want to have page numbers in there so people know where they're up to. Okay. And then this is kind of the hard part. If you're making a book, you have to repeat this 208 times. So obviously you do not have to do that when you're starting out because I do not recommend going from 0 pages to 208 pages. So write like a short story, even a page is great. Maybe if you get more confident, you can try 2 or 3 pages. But then when you're an expert like me, you can do something that's 208 pages. Okay. Ta-da! You've made a book. How great is that? Now, I promised you at the beginning that I'm going to show you something, a little surprise. So we're going to go through and have a look at something that I haven't actually shown any Kiwi kids yet. So you're the first Kiwi kids to see this. So if you could just, keep this under your hat because this is still kind of a secret, but I'm going to show you the cover for my next book, okay? Ta-da! That is the cover of my next book, Detective Beans and the Math and Mystery, which will be out next year. I actually just sent away all my final drawings for it to my publisher yesterday. So you can look out for that mid next year. Okay, all done. Let's draw. We're going to whiz through this so fast because I know that we are running out of time. Okay, we're going to draw beans now. And if you can keep up, please do. But I totally understand if you can't because I'm going to go quite fast and I've drawn them a million times, so I'm going to go kind of fast. But there should be an activity sheet that your teachers have given you, or you can get it also from detectivebeans.com. Okay, let's go. We're drawing beans. Okay, so right now I've got a guide. We don't have time to draw that in, so I've done that ahead of time. So he is 6 units tall, okay? And the reason I do that is because otherwise, if you draw him over 208 pages, like sometimes his head starts getting really big, his body starts getting really small, or I start drawing his legs really, really long and he starts looking like an octopus. It's just really bizarre. And then by the time you get to the end of the book, it doesn't even look like the same character anymore. So that's why I always have this like grid so I can know how big his head is compared to his body, compared to his legs, and that keeps him uniform throughout the story. Okay. So these 6 units can be anything. You could draw him 6 meters long. You could draw him 6 centimeters tall. It doesn't matter. Just 6. Okay. So let's start. We're starting at the top of his head. His head is 2.5. So you can see here, two
Hold on,
and a
Lee.
half. Oh,
Hold on there. I think you need to change the screen over.
oh, is it not working? Okay, wait a second.
Sorry.
Okay, let's
There
go.
we go.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Can you see that now?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank
Oh
you.
gosh, I can't believe I did that mistake. I'm so sorry, guys. That was so amateur of me. Okay, so this is what we had before. This is what I was saying. He's 6. If you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to start on his head, okay? His head is 2.5. So we go 2.5. So the shape of his head is kind of like, if you can imagine, like if you had a square marshmallow and you just sort of squished it from the top and the bottom, that's kind of the shape of his head. Or like an upside down apple. Okay, so that's kind of the shape of his head. And then we draw a line. I'm just going to cheat a little bit because I'm doing this digitally so I can draw a really straight line. Obviously, I can't do that usually. And that's where his eyes will be. So we're drawing his little eyes here. And then where this line that I just drew meets that imaginary middle line, that's where I will draw his nose. See? And then we have a little line, because you know how cats have kind of like a line that joins like their nose and their mouth? And then we'll add a little smile. And I do this thing, and I don't know why, but I never fully connect it here. And I think it gives it a little bit of charm because I think when you're drawing, you never want everything to look too symmetrical because then it kind of has this weird, like, robot-y look. So if the eyes are a little wonky or the smile's a little wonky, it doesn't matter. It just gives it character. Because if you look at a person is never symmetrical either. So now we're going to draw in the ears. We're going to go so fast. I know we're running out of time. Gosh, you're so busy. Okay, we're going to do two big ears because he's a kitten, and kittens have giant ears compared to their head. And then we just do this inner line here, and that's where we would usually color it in pink. So if you look here, see the inside of his ear is pink, and it has a little line here. So that's where that is. Okay, now we give him two little whiskers on each side. Now we're moving on to the body. His body, okay, is 2 units high. So the head is 2.5, body is 2. So if you count, this is already half, so that's 1. And if we go 1 again, that's 2. I'll draw a sneaky straight line again here. Okay, and then we draw this sort of like triangle shape like this, okay? And that's going to be his body. And then his clothes, he wears a little shirt, so it needs his little collar. So we got his little round collar here. And then, of course, he is a professional detective, so he needs a tie. So we draw in a tie here. And his tie is kind of big, so you want to draw it so it overlaps his shirt. And if you want to, you can color that in. I know, guys, I'm going so fast. You're probably like, slow down. I can barely keep up. I'm sorry. I've been told many times that you guys are very busy today, okay? You're going to have to look this up later. But look, we're just going really fast. And maybe this is recorded somewhere. You could always come and watch this again, okay? But I think on the activity sheet, I've done this step by step, so you can keep looking at that. Okay, now we've got a tie. Now we want to do his little legs. Now his little legs are the rest of the 1.5. So we've got this bottom line here. That's where his legs are going to come down to. So we have one little stubby leg here and one little stubby leg here. Okay? And we just want to draw a little straight line at the bottom. And then we add in a little line here. And the reason I add in that little line is because if you can imagine, if Beans went to the side like this, his little leg would look like this. Right? Because if you look at a cat's little paws, they have these little beans that protrude from the side. But because he's facing straight on, you can't see that. So I just added a little line there. So that just signifies that he's got little paws that come out. Now we have to give him arms. Okay, arms coming from up here, going from each side. They usually don't go longer than the body. They just tuck in like that. And then I'll draw in a line here, and that's his sleeve. Okay, now what's he missing? He's missing his jacket. Okay, now we go from here. We draw 2 lines. This doesn't look very good, huh? Usually I'm not drawing like this in a hurry, so it looks a lot better. So you're just going to have to forgive me that this is the best I can do today, okay? We're in a big hurry. And okay, so we draw these shapes. These are his lapels. So they're like, if you don't know what a lapel is, it's like the front part of the jacket, the bit that makes him look cool. So it's kind of a hard shape to draw. It's kind of like a lightning bolt shape. So you want to have 2 on either side. And then from the edge of his jacket, from his top, you just want to extend those lines out a little bit. And then his jacket ends about halfway down his legs. I know this is looking really messy. So what I usually do is I would draw this kind of lightly, and then I will go through and like draw the final lines a little darker on top. Or you could draw this in pencil and then go over it with like a felt or something, and then you could rub the pencil out. Okay, and then I've just drawn his pockets in here. What else is he missing? He's missing his pattern. So if we look here, he's a tabby. He's got patterning here. So from the top of his head, we draw 3 little lines. The middle one's usually the longest, and the side ones are a little shorter, like that. Look at that. Look at that. Beans is appearing right before our eyes. And then on the side of his face, we do 2. Okay, so there and there. Okay, so usually he also has them on his arms, but because he's wearing his jacket, we can't see them. So the only other place we can see them are his legs. So if we go here, he has 3 little ones on his leg, and you want to draw them equidistant. Sometimes you can't see them very well here because he's got clothes covering it. But you want to have them equidistant, like 3 slugs, like 3 sausages that just fell to the ground at an equal distance to each other. And there you go. That's Beans. If I just get rid of this background bit. Look at that. Look at what we've done. And then you could also, look, if you wanted to, You could add in some grass like that, and then you could do some bushes behind him. You just go hop, 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 hop. We're done. And now you can color him in. You have to make sure he's dark brown here, light brown here. You can look at him and look at how to color him. And then that's done. I think we're done. And I think I did that on time. Boom.
Yeah, you nailed the timing bit.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. That was so cool to see how the Beans goes from 6 lines into the actual character, and it was. Thank you so much for sharing that whole process. It was really cool.
Thank
And
you. Yeah, I like drawing for everyone because I think sometimes when you see a final drawing, it's hard to see how it started. So I love doing live drawings in front of people so they can see like how you start and then it gradually turns into that thing and you see how that final product's made.
Yeah, and it was really cool to be able to see that you go from how you went from thumbnail drawings to sketches to the final product. Because I know what with my daughter, she loves drawing as well, and she gets really frustrated with herself if the drawing's not perfect straight away. And I can't wait to share it with her just to see how the real process goes and how you can sketch it up and look it can be scratchy and then you go over the line. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I really want kids to know that because the thing is like you're never going to get it perfect on the first go, and I'm still learning. There's still sometimes when I do drawings and I'm like, "Oh, this looks bad. Like I'm going to have to give this another go tomorrow because this is not, good enough to be printed in a book." So it's just you just have to keep at it. You have to keep practicing, and then you'll just naturally get better because if you keep doing something, you can't help but get better. So when you first start out and it doesn't look great, don't stop and don't get disappointed in yourself or frustrated. We'll try not to. Because if you just keep going and you do it just because you love it, you're going to get better.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Okay, so now we've got some pretty awesome questions, and we'll try and get through them all. But if we don't, I'm sorry, we might miss a few. Some of them you've already kind of answered, so we'll start working our way through that list. Now, the first question is from Hamilton West School, room 17. Were you inspired by any other graphic novels? And if you were, which ones?
Oh, that is a great question. And also, shout out to Hamilton. I'm in Hamilton right now as well. So that's where I live as well. So shout out. Um, I read one particular graphic novel that I really love. I actually bought it here so that you can see. It's called Yotsuba. This is the 15th. This is volume 15. So there's 16 of them in total. And it's ongoing. And it's a Japanese series about this little girl, and she goes on like very, very everyday adventures. And the tagline is enjoy everything, which I really love. So she can turn anything into a fun activity like collecting rocks or, drawing outside on the pavement. And it looks like this. It's originally Japanese, but you can get it translated. And it's my absolute favorite. So it's called Yotsuba. Yotsuba. It's called Yotsuba and then this is the 15th one. So this I really recommend if you like it, if you like comics and graphic novels.
Cool. Right. The next one is from Queen's Margaret College, Year 3. Stefan wanted to know, why did you choose the name Detective Beans?
Oh, great question, Stefan. The reason I chose beans is because I really like my cat's little paws, and they've got those little toe beans, and I think they're just so cute. And when I was trying to come up with a name for beans, I just thought, oh, I love their toe beans, and I feel like I just want to call him Detective Beans because I like toe beans. So that's. I wish I had a better answer for you, and it was something like more exciting or more like mysterious, but it's genuine and just because I like cat's paws, and that's why I've called him Detective Beans.
I was wondering whether, because you'd mentioned beans when you were talking about when you were drawing, and I was wondering, is that where it's come from? Cool. The next question from the same college was from Emily, and she wanted to know what inspired you to make the funny ice cream flavors in the book.
Oh, Oh, that is a great question. Well, first of all, I love ice cream, so that also helps. And also here in Hamilton, we have an ice cream brand called Duck Island, which I think you can get everywhere now. You can get it in Wellington as well. It's in supermarkets, but it originated in Hamilton. The OG store is in Hamilton, and they come up with really cool ice cream flavors that are a little bit different from what you usually get. So they have like things like they'll have flavors that have rosemary in it or like mochi. Like it's a little bit different from just like raspberry ripple and stuff like that, which I mean, I'm not knocking on raspberry ripple. I love all the classic flavors, but that was definitely something that I thought about when I was making the ice cream shop in my book because I love Duck Island and as a treat, because it is kind of expensive, but as a treat, sometimes, I will go and get some ice cream there. And I love trying all the different flavors. And even if it sounds like it's going to be weird, I love trying it. And I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Cool. Yeah, I love Duck Island too, and one of my favorite flavors is their toasted marshmallow flavor. Even the texture is a little bit like marshmallow, so yeah,
That is a
yeah.
good one. Good choice.
Cool. Next is onto Bankwood School. Uh, they wanted to know. They've got a couple questions. First question is, were you a good writer at school?
Okay, so I was a good writer at school and I liked writing stories, but I think more than writing, I really loved reading. So I've always really loved reading. When I was younger, I was really into books that you guys probably don't know about anymore because you're young and cool and hip, but there was a series called Goosebumps, that was like very in when I was little. And they were kind of scary, spooky stories, and I loved those. And I read them so much that my teacher would be like, "Can you try and read some other books, please? Because all you read is Goosebumps." And I was like, "No, this is all I'm reading, and this is what I'm into right now." And also, there's a Australian author called Paul Jennings, and he makes a series of books. They all start with "un," so it's like unbelievable, unreal, and it has lots of short stories in it, and they are so good. And I loved them as a kid, and I still love them as an adult. So but the thing is, even if you aren't a good writer, that's totally okay. Because so much of making comics is also drawing, so you don't have to be a great writer. And even now, though I write books, if I had to write like a proper book full of words, I don't think I could do it because I just don't have the skills to be that good at writing. But the thing is, I love drawing, and so I'm okay at writing, but I really love drawing, so I think I can, get somewhere in between. But I mean, even if you don't like writing, if you like reading or you like dreaming or you like to do illustrations, you can totally give it a go. So please don't feel like if you're not good at writing, you can't make comics.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? Like, I think if you've got a story to tell, and it's important to you, then there's always a way to tell that story, whether it be writing or drawing or both. Cool. Now, yeah, the next question which you kind of answered was, how do you think of ideas when writing a story?
Oh, good question. So I try to think of them just whenever I go, wherever I go, I've just always in the back of my head, I'm thinking of story ideas. So if I'm like reading a book or watching a movie, or I love to go on walks, I try to go for a walk every day because I feel like it's really good for my brain. And for some reason, while I'm walking, my brain gets really active, and that's where I do all my best thinking. So when I'm walking, even if I see things like, oh, I see a really fluffy dog, and I'm like, oh, that dog looks kind of like a cloud. And even that, I'll just like tuck away in the back of my mind. And then sometimes, like, you're writing a story and something will pop up, like, I need a new character. And I'm like, oh, what about that dog I saw the other day? It was such a funny looking dog. It was so fluffy. Maybe I could do something with that. So I feel like it's really important to just always be very, very mindful of where you are and to look for ideas wherever you are. And people as well. So I'm always inspired by different people that I meet. And if someone has like a little mannerism or something they do that I find really funny or weird, I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to give it to one of my characters. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, I think, well, with our time with so many authors and illustrators in the last 4 years, so many of them are inspired by just everyday activities, like going for a walk, like sitting on a park bench. And the one thing that seems to be a real thread across all of them is as those little things that stand out, writing them down and holding on to them. And then then, although I'm not a writer or illustrator, what it seems like is they pull all these different parts that they've kept pull it all together and create this wonderful story. And it's really amazing to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think if you don't write stories, you just think that the ideas must come fully formed or they come from one particular place and it's quite mystical. And it seems kind of like yeah, like this weird thing that only happens to some people or not others. But I think when you actually talk to creative people, it can come from anywhere. And the main thing that they do is that they are really good at observing things and writing things down, and then they'll like think back over it, and then that'll come up with a story or add to another story. And I think that's just the main thing. You just always have to be on the lookout and always kind of writing things down and thinking.
Cool. Okay, great. Now, our time is up, but before we say goodbye, it's time to announce the winners of today's book, Detective Beans and the Case of the Missing Hat. So, with drum roll. So, first school, congratulations to Rafiti School. We'll get a book out to you. And for the next winner is congratulations to Otamotai Primary School in Tauranga. So congratulations to you guys too. We'll get a book out to you guys as well. So before I say goodbye, thank you very much, Lee. It's been amazing to have you on here, and thank you so much for taking us, me, and all the tamariki on this little journey of how you put together your stories. So yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had so much fun. Congratulations to those two schools. I hope you enjoy the books. If you don't enjoy them, please just pretend you enjoyed them because that would be really upsetting for me. Yeah, and thank you so much. And I can't wait to see all your beans drawings sometime. Like send them in, and then hopefully Hals will send them through to me so I can have a look as well. But I'm sure they're great, and I wish you all the luck for writing and drawing your own comics.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good summer holidays. Be kind to your mums and dads, aunties and uncles, and enjoy and stay safe. Ka kite and see you next year.